not the Lick Loft. I'm with our good friend Matt, who builds the most incredible guitars in the world. So much so that I bought one last year, and probably going to buy another one in a month or two. Today, maybe. Yeah. I just wanted to check out what's kind of changed since last year till now, really.
So a couple of new models. So we've got a junior version of the Stella Rossa now. The Stella Rossa was the most complicated one we'd ever done. Loads of switching options. So really wanted to strip it right back and just make it single pickup, just straight out, just take it to gig, go, and just really controlling the sound of it with the tone control and stuff. So that pickup in there, the Charlie Christian one from Mojo Pickups, is now like my reference kind of best pickup in the world. So it's just one of those in there, job done. It sounds great. It's my favourite one to play myself as well. It's just really easy to play, roasted maple neck, and just kind of gig it and go. So last year we had the first prototype bass. So this year we've got the short scale version of that as well. So we've probably built more of those this year than any of the guitar models individually. So I think we've done 5 short scale basses this year, which has been great because that's kind of I'm more of a bassist than a guitarist really. So it's been nice to be able to sort of get into that.
We'll cut some playing clips in a bit, but like when I was playing that junior yesterday, it's just. I honestly couldn't stop talking about it last night. I was just like, nice. There's just something about your guitars. It's just,
cheers, man.
It's weird. It's like it's getting that. We walk around and everything is a Telly or a Les Paul or
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I love Tellys and Les Pauls. Like, good Telly's my favourite guitar. But
how did you come up with the designs to be original but not be too weird?
It's a tricky one. This is all still fairly new to me. It's only a few years in. When I started out, basically just measured up every guitar that I loved, drew boxes, and then within those boxes started to just play around with shapes, and it's all done in sort of CAD programs. So I've got a little bit of engineering experience and like technical drawing and stuff, so just using that and just working on curves for ages. It's funny how just like slight changes can kind of something suddenly resolves after you play around with it for a few weeks. So that was it, just using other guitars as sort of the general constraints and then trying to work within that so that it felt familiar in terms of the proportions and that kind of thing, and it looks like it could have existed for decades, but actually you haven't seen it before. That was kind of the goal. Like, imagine that you got up in your granddad's loft and found this old Italian thing that he bought like in the 60s and forgotten about, that sort of thing.
No, it's completely got that vibe. So we'll do some playing of the Stella Rossa and the Junior.
Richard Dawson as well, so it's a guy he released an album called 2020 last year, which got a lot of acclaim, like Riley said. It's an amazing album, but he plays, it's kind of it's a mix of like all folk and electronic and bits of stuff like that, but it's the way he plays an open C, but he plays on a really short scale guitar at the moment. So we've just finished a guitar for him, it's loaded with 30s, tuned down to C, and it's just got a neck pickup and it's super simple, but it's one of my favourite things I've built so far. It's just got a really punchy sound. So
Danish Pete commented on our picture yesterday about that guitar. He was loving it.
It kind of looked purple in the face.
But no, it was blue-ish. Well,
it's weird.
It's like a mix.
Yeah, it's got like 5 layers of paint, so kind of black undercoat, then like glitter coat, then purple, then transparent blue, and then clear coat and stuff. So when you look at it really close up, you kind of see all the stuff coming through where it's been like rubbed back through the layers, but just from a distance it kind of looks like purpley blue. It's kind of something Richard sent me an email just saying a dark glow in capital letters, so kind of spent weeks trying to work out what that meant, but kind of got there.
I think you nailed it. Safe to say, like, I wouldn't have been able to, from a dark glow, I wouldn't have been able to do much other than
there was times when it didn't look quite as good as that, we got there in the end.
And would that be something you'll now produce if people want it?
I think we'll make more of it and sort of sell it as a model, sort of a variation on the JB, and see what people think. But
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking to us.
Pleasure, man.
We're probably going to spend most of the day here because it's our favourite booth with lovely rug, chairs, guitars, Hampstead amps. Like, why would you go anywhere else? So thank you very much, and see you soon. Hello, we are with, what should we say, guitar legend, magazine columnist, music college professor.
Easy.
The man with the black book of every famous guitarist in the world, Mr. Ian Edwards. So thank you for talking to us.
No worries. It's great to chat with you guys.
So I originally met Ian through coming on Guitar Breaks. I've been on 2 now, and I will go on many more, I'm sure. But it's the most interesting concept you can think of. You actually genuinely get to spend real time with some of the best guitarists in the world. It's not one of these things where they turn up for an hour, then they go to their hotel room. You're literally with them close to 24/7.
Yeah, well, that's really the idea, is to be able to spend time talking with professional players who put in thousands and thousands of hours and understand what's truly important about playing the guitar. For example, we've got one coming up with Josh Smith, and the guys, that's fully booked. But the guys who are booked onto that will be spending 5 days with Josh, picking his brains about what he thinks is important about playing the guitar, picking up his techniques, his philosophy. Last year we had Matt Schofield and Ariel Posen. We've had Mick and Dan from That Pedal Show, Pete Honore from Anderson's TV, Chris Buck, Sam Bell. I mean, it's been amazing. I've been so fortunate to get some amazing guys coming through. And we've got one in Brighton, by the way, coming up in April with Andy Guitar, Mike Bradley. Where are they? There they are, there.
I also saw he was in a really good-looking guy next to Mike Bradley. And
There's I was really fortunate to get that photograph. Obviously I had to.
You had to call the pub and let them know I was coming first.
I had to
shut it down.
They had to empty the pub, shut it down, and it was all okay in the end. I managed to get the shot, so
good.
I was happy about that.
I'm glad I didn't, cause too much drama at your event.
No, not too much, not too much.
But the thing I found strange is when we're playing a gig or whatever, and afterwards you're normally tired and you don't want to talk about gear, you just want to get home, or like talking about gear with people has probably been a bit of something I maybe avoid sometimes, but I've actually made sort of lifelong friends from being at Guitar Breaks. And it's strange. It's probably something the way you run it or the way it's all put together, but it's weird that I've been on 2 and there's not one idiot, or there's not been one I don't know how to put it. Everyone's so nice, and I don't know how you manage to always get that balance right.
Well, so far so good. I think we're fortunate because everybody's really passionate about the same thing. So you can have people from completely different worlds and you don't know how they're going to get on. And then one of them will say to the other one, what sort of guitar strings do you use? And then the whole conversation opens up into everything, So once you get into that kind of community spirit, it also then doesn't matter if you're a good guitar player or a not so good guitar player or an amazing guitar player. The reality is that everybody's there to help each other. Everybody's there to bring everybody up. And so even though everybody turns up with the same concerns, which are normally, am I good enough? That quickly goes away and everybody realizes it doesn't matter. So that's a really good part of it, I think, and that's the bit that warms the cockles of my heart.
It's done like, not that I'm bigging myself up, but it's done amazing things with my playing, because I was just in that rut of, I never got nervous at gigs, play weddings, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when you're stood there and you've got Chris Buck, Pete, Danish Pete, Sam Bell, they're all watching you play. Like, my first half an hour, I just sort of caved in. Yeah. And then once you break through that, you feel like you've achieved something that you would never do, even though they're not putting the pressure on you. It's just, you achieve something that is.
That's just, right. Well, once you realise that they're not judging you anywhere near as harshly as you are judging yourself, then it's okay. Yeah. But you have to break that thing down first. And normally it's something that's inside the player. Yeah. It's not something, other people are not judging you in the way that you are judging yourself. No. Once we get through that bit, and also once we get through either doing a recording session or we get through playing a little gig, then these are all things that help people to develop confidence. Yeah. So it's probably as much about that community and that sort of unifying spirit. That's what it is.
The community is the best thing, because like I really didn't want to come across like, not that I have, but I didn't want to presume, like just Dan and Mick are there, I don't want to presume that, you know, now we're friends because we've been on a guitar breaks, but the reality is that you are, because you've spent real time with someone, and even if it is just hi, how you doing, it's a really great feeling to walk around this show and you're bumping into famous guitarists and you're like, oh hey, and they actually generally remember you. It's not like I spoke to you at a show 2 years ago and shook your hand. It's like we spent 4 days together.
You spend quality time, that's the thing, so you don't have to rush into trying to get what it is you want to try and get out of them. You've got plenty of time to allow it to develop. So you do build a relationship, and over time that will become a friendship. So I mean, these guys, I'm just amazed that these guys come along and spend their time. I just think it's fantastic. So
it is,
I'm really grateful to them, and also you can't really see them because there's so much equipment on the stand, but
this old thing.
Well, we've had some amazing gear support. You know, the guys at Boss are just amazing. Victory have been amazing. Thorpe, Cornerstone, you know, almost unheard of pedals, which are now doing great guns. You know, the Gladio, which has just been featured on that pedal show. All of these companies, Kurt Mangan, you know, they're just all really supportive of what we do. Because they understand that it's all about the community. Yeah. So
when you go, you go to, we've been to a couple of places, Brighton Electric or Water Bear, and you walk in and there's wireless Boss amps everywhere. I mean, it's Victory amps, everything you could want. You just you don't need to. All you need to do is bring a guitar, and you're playing through some amazing gear.
And but that's the other thing as well, because sometimes people get a little bit stuck in the rut with their own sound. Yeah. Sometimes your sound can be the thing, and so experimenting with other things and listening to what other people are doing, and you know, why are you putting that there, and you know, once you get into those different mindsets, it can change things for the better.
And the really other cool thing is it's not obviously you have your kind of structured, you have an hour or so and you have a break, but the other thing is once something's going on, you can go off to another room, jam with people. It's not like you must sit here for the next 5 hours and listen to us play.
No,
it's just a free experience and that's really cool.
Well, the other thing as well is because you get people at different levels, there's always the opportunity for a little bit of one-to-one or a bit of small group, take a couple of people off. I was in Brighton a year or so back, and there were a couple of guys that were just really struggling with the rhythm of a certain piece of music that we were working on. So I just picked those guys up, we went off into another room, and we just sat in there for an hour, and we just worked on getting that rhythm up to speed, you know. And that sort of opportunity is really useful. So it's a great community, and I hope it's going to continue growing.
It definitely is, and like I say, I'm 100% coming. After my wedding, I'm going to come every year, twice a year.
Not directly after your wedding.
No.
A couple of weeks after your wedding.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
No, thank you for talking to us.
No worries.
We've got some playing in from some awesome pedals. We might take this two-rock in the car.
Mick,
and
just come and quickly say hello. Come and say a quick hello.
What an honour.
Hello.
Hello. You have to ask him a question now.
We're going to be watching Mick and Dan do their thing at 1:30.
I'm going to be watching Lickloft.
Are you? You're too kind. But no, we can't wait to watch you.
Awesome.
Watch your pedal board coming together. Are you happy with everything?
I am. Do you want to see it?
I would love to see it. also, through the power of marketing, I have a Hampstead amp, a Schmidt array board, and everything that pedal show used, I have bought. Wow.
Here we go.
What a cool size board as well. I have the small one.
This is the most packed board I've ever done. This is my new favourite overdrive pedal.
Yeah.
The Gladio from Cornerstone.
And was yesterday the first time you gigged it? Because you said you you loved it, you hadn't gigged it yet.
And it was really, because it was straight into a band mix as well with, bless him, Ainsley Lister invited me up to play a couple of tunes, which was really gracious of him, and it was really good. So anyway,
Wow. Nice.
I'm going to swap that out. Black Country Customs, the people at Laney have got a new tri-chorus.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's really nice, that, but it drops the level quite a bit.
Okay.
So, naughty horsey.
Naughty horsey. But yeah, no, you've got 3 delays, right? I heard or saw.
Well, that's the third
one.
The
third one, yeah.
Look at that. Insanity. I bought this on reverb.com off a guy in Poland. So, yeah.
And it keeps the high end, as you've been talking about.
No, do you know what? The interesting thing is it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it
so
just...
After all that,
it's like, what I need to do is get a real one and listen to it, and I got a real one and listened to it, and lo and behold, it just makes it all fatter and crazy. So,
thank you for showing us that. I really appreciate it.
I can't unhear it though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
When you turn it on, it goes, and you can sort of half hear all the stuff you played yesterday still going around the heads.
Okay.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't want that for my playing. I'd want to forget about it.
It's cool. I think it eventually erases it because the erase head is driven by a valve. Right. I don't understand the technology, but technology.
Yeah. But no,
anyway, cool.
I thank you so much.
Sorry to crash your party.
Oh, believe me, you've made it 100 times better. And we'll get a good thumbnail now with Mick and get some views.
Awesome.
Clickbait Mick.
How did you start? Give us a quick kind of like, how did you get into it?
Well, it kind of stemmed from me being left-handed. So what happened was, like, I'd get fed up with going into guitar stores and just seeing like the same 2 guitars that you can buy left-handed. Yeah. They kind of got me into then building parts guitars and learning how to solder pots to a jack and pickups and stuff. And then that kind of just led on naturally to building pedals. So I built a few like basic fuzzes and just sell them in plain boxes on Facebook groups and stuff like that. And then over time it just kind of snowballed into something a bit bigger. And then each year, obviously, there've been a couple of iterations of all the pedals, and we try and continually kind of progress and move forward. But I think where we're heading in the direction in this year is pretty much where I think we're going to stay going forward.
Left-handed who's your favourite guitarist?
It's a toss-up between probably Kurt Cobain and Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr. They're one of my favourites. I mean, obviously Kurt Cobain because of the left-handed thing, and obviously especially when I was a teenager, the Nirvana thing, like everyone does. But then yeah, Dinosaur Jr. have just been like one of my all-time favourite bands. I think they're crazy loud, but I've seen them a couple of times. But yeah, definitely Jay Mascis, I think. Listening to obviously the Dinosaur Jr.'s Beyond album, and then the inspiration for two of the pedals, the Seaver and the American Geek, came from obviously Smashing Pumpkins. So the Siamese Dream album, Gish, like just that big like wall of fuzz. It's just like that huge sound. It was like I remember hearing that and just thinking I've never heard anything like that on a record before, because it's such an unruly kind of like sound that you just don't, it's not smooth or anything at all. It's just this like wall of noise. So yeah, totally. So that kind of like sometimes I'll hear things like that and I'm like, how do I get that kind of sound but also give it like more tweakability to where everyone else is set up, because obviously not everyone's playing the same setup as Billy Corgan would be. So that's kind of where it kind of comes in with like obviously the pedals have a lot of knobs. Just being able to tweak it to work with anyone's setup, because people never talk about the amp they're running or the guitar they're running, and they always talk about like the sound of the pedal, but it's equally as important in context of the whole rig. So that's why we try and make it so that the pedals, you'll get a decent sound out of it pretty much anything you're running into.
Yeah, that's nice, because I mean the thing I noticed about the Optifuzz one is that it's just got that different tweaks, different like options, sounds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because especially with like a lot of fuzz pedals, and you run them into something like a clean Fender. Obviously, you're running like mid scoop into mid scoop, and it just becomes just like it's all bass, it's all treble. So just having something like the punch control on the Foxton Woods, where you can dial in some of the mid range back, it just kind of evens it out a little bit.
Cool. So what's in the bag for the future then? Because I know we were speaking earlier on about you kind of like changing the form slightly.
Yeah, so this year, so in 2020, all of the pedals will eventually come down to this kind of normal like standard like Boss size kind of pedal with upgraded switching. And then the other big thing is obviously the Junipero is due out fairly soon, so that's our multi-modulation pedal, so you've got choruses, flanges, phasers, tremolos, all that stuff, with tap tempo and presets. I've kind of described it to other people as you think of like a Strymon Mobius or a Wampa Terraform, but coming from a kind of smaller independent company. And then once that's out, hopefully, later towards the end of the year, we'll see a similar format to the Junipero, but for a delay and reverb, which will be replacing our tape deck and Exosphere. So DSP, so 2020 is basically making things smaller and also going into with DSP.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's a lot of kind of working out to get something into such a small.
Yeah, so.
And still kind of getting it functioning, what it needs to do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that the way we've done it is that we'll actually end up with more functionality in the smaller pedals than we currently have. Just because of how we've managed to get it to work. So yeah, going forward, the 2020 is going to be hopefully a really exciting year.
We're looking forward to it. We'll keep our eyes out and we'll link up and see where we are in a few months.
Cheers.
Nice one.
Perfect.
Cheers, Alex.
Thank you very much.
Anyway,
cheers.
See you guys soon.